Sahanavavatu Sahanabhunaktu Sahaviyankaravavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Mundakopanishad is from Atharvana Veda. It comes under the major Upanishad. Major Upanishads and minor Upanishads are only the divisions made scholars. Content-wise, there are no such, that is, major or minor things are not there. All speak of one and the same truth, that is what one's own true nature, Atma, Brahma is. But depending on the type of the students, different types of methodologies of teaching are adopted. The unique feature of Mundakopanishad is the elaboration of two types of knowledge. All the branches of knowledge are clubbed into two categories. One, para, the higher one. Other one is apara. Now, apara means not inferior. The one is higher and other is lower, no. Superior, inferior, no. Paravidya is superior knowledge, higher knowledge. Aparavidya is not inferior knowledge, but the knowledge that is not superior. Why this division? Why this way? Because this aparavidya, the knowledge that is not superior, serves as the means to gain the paravidya, the superior knowledge. So there is a relation of means and the end. Sadhana, sadhya. Aparavidya serves as the means sadhana. Paravidya is the sadhya, the goal to be accomplished. So therefore, it is connected to aparavidya, also is connected to paravidya. So these two types of knowledge. And we'll see what is paravidya, what is aparavidya in detail. The text is going to deal with. Another unique feature of this Mundakopanishad is the Jiva and Ishvara. Jivatma and Paramatma are compared to two birds. Two birds perching on the same tree, and you need not find where the tree is at Kanyakumari and all that. Your body itself is the tree. Our body itself is a tree, wherein two birds are perching. It's only imagery, and that analogy is given, not that really there are two birds as such. The individual jiva, the samsari, one who is suffering all the sorrows, etc., in between some joy, sukha dukkhatmaka experiences, one who is undergoing, that jivatma is one bird who is either enjoying or suffering the results of one's own karma phalas of the past. On the same tree of the body, there is other bird which is the Ishvara Paramatma, but aloof from all these experiences of sukha and dukkha, simply witnesses, unaffected by ups and downs of life, sorrows and joys of life. It is simply witnessing. So, what is the plight of the other bird who is suffering? It just sees, and if it can discover itself to be not different from the other bird, it also can get freed from samsara. So that this analogy also we do find in this Mundakopanishad. So the question may arise, why it is called Mundaka? Exact answer is not known, but some people interpret in some way as such. Some say one Manduka Rishi was there, because these Vedic mantras are attributed to the mantra drashtaraha, though to whom these mantras have got revealed. So Manduka, one Rishi to whom this shaka is attributed, from that they say it has been the name that Mundakopanishad has come. This is one way of looking. Others say that Mundaka, you know what is Mundaka? At least you know Mundana, what is that? Huh? shaving. Shaving got from agalat, you know. Agalat means what? From neck onwards. There is a joke as such. It says Shankaracharya wanted to have a discussion with Mandana Mishra to make him understand that Karmakanda is not everything. Karmakanda certainly serves the purpose of means to gain the knowledge, but it cannot be the end. So, but it was difficult for him to have an audience with him, because when he approached him, so the Mandana Mishra, the Grahastha, was busy in doing the Shraddha of the parents. Somehow, by some supernatural power, all the doors were closed as such, but somehow Shankaracharya entered. And being a Karmakandi, can't bear the sight of sannyasis. He was so irritated, the moment he saw a sannyasi, Kuto Mundi, he asked. Kuto Mundi means, hey Mundi, from where have you come? Because all doors are closed. From where have you say? Shankaracharya was humorous in the face. Galat, he said. From neck onwards. Because see what he said, sarcastically he has remarked sannyasi as the Mundi, one who has got Mundana. So he took it from where you have got Mundana, from neck onwards. Not that mullahs, etc., beard is kept and only head is shaved, not that way. From the neck onwards, I am shaven. Kuto Mundi means it can be taken as from where you have, that way you have got the shaving from the neck onwards. Only that whatever may be. Now, Mundaka also can mean as a shaven head. This has got some connection, because in the Mundakopanishad, at the end, to whom this knowledge can be given, it is said, Chirna Vrataha. There is a particular ritual that is there, which the person who studies Atharvaveda has to take to. Actually, that Vrata, it is called Shiro Vrata. That Shiro Vrata doesn't apply to the study of Mundakopanishad. If that were the case, I would have to keep a barber here before starting the text as such. No, those who study the Atharvaveda, so they have to undergo a particular ritual, wherein, so they have to shave the head, carry the, what is that, burning charcoal, maybe on a pot, in a pot itself, and some ritual is there. Like that, no, devotees with Irumudi going to the temple as such. So like that, some they have to carry. What? The burning cinders. What does it indicate? There is a figurative meaning in that. The quest for knowledge must be so, that means sharp as such. That's it. A person, especially a baldi, baldi means one who has a bald as such, and who got exposed to the scorching sun, what will he seek? First and foremost thing is some shadow and cool water to drink. And his soap, that means intent on that, because he can't bear the heat. Likewise, here is a person who is so keen in gaining the knowledge that is there in the Atharvaveda, he is ready to do any sacrifice. It is only an indication, a figurative way of expressing, for which a ritual is recommended. So that Mundaka, so that with a shaven head, from that it comes Mundakopanishad. But these are not that relevant things as such. Let us bother, let us see the content of it. Mundakopanishad, as we have seen now, is from Atharvana Veda or Atharva Veda. It has got 3 Mundakas. Here Mundaka means chapters. The chapters are called as Mundakas. 3 Mundakas, and each Mundaka, each chapter has got 2 sections called as Khandas. So 3 Mundakas, 3 chapters, and Khandas, each has got 2 Khandas, 2 sections. Totally we have got 6 sections. And just for the information of those who are new, because most of you have studied many of these Anubhuti Prakasha chapters, those who are first time taking to Anubhuti Prakasha chapter, for their information, about 20 Upanishads have been taken by Vidyaranya Muni, and that Tatparya, summary of which he has culled in different Upanishads. There he has got now 20 chapters, but I think 13 Upanishads or so. 13 because like Brihadaranyaka has got 6 Upanishads, Chandogya has got, Brihadaranyaka has got 6 chapters, Chandogya has got 3 chapters, I think 13 Upanishads, he has culled into 20 chapters, giving the essence of the Upanishad. And Vidyaranya Muni being what he is, because his style of teaching is so precise that even the most of the subtle points which may not be so clear, he has caught the points and elaborated. That uniqueness is there in Anubhuti Prakasha. Those who have studied, you have already seen. Here itself in Mundakopanishad you will find. So Mundakopanishad Vivaranam gives us the summary, the substance of what the Mundaka Upanishad is teaching. Let us start. Brahma Vidyam Shaunakaya Yamuvacangira Munihi Atharvane Mundake Sau Vishadikritya Vakshate Brahma Vidyam Shaunakaya Yamuvacangira Munihi Atharvane Mundake Sau Vishadikritya Vakshate. In that English translation book, one correction, it is Mundake Asau, Mundake Sau, not Mundako Sau. Change the ko to k, avagraha as it is, it should be there. Anvaya. Atharvane Mundake Angira Munihi Yam Brahma Vidyam Shaunakaya Uvacha Yam Brahma Vidyam Shaunakaya Uvacha Tam and Asau Vishadikritya Vakshate. Asau Vishadikritya Vakshate. So what is the subject matter of this particular chapter which forms the 6th chapter of Anubhuti Prakasha text? So what is the subject matter? This is what it is. Atharvane. Literally, Atharvane means in Atharva Veda. But not exactly Atharva Veda. In the Mundakopanishad contained in the Atharva Veda. It has to be taken. Atharvane Vede Ya Mundakakhyopanishad Tasyam. In Atharvana Veda, Atharvana Vede Ya Mundakakhya Upanishad. A Upanishad, Akhya means name. A Upanishad called as Mundaka, Tasyam, in that Upanishad. By the by, you know, Upanishad word in Sanskrit is feminine in gender. So, feminine in gender, Upanishad word is feminine. So, whatever that Mundaka Upanishad that is there in Atharvana Veda, Mundake says, Angira Munihi, a great sage by name Angiras. We have got, in Mundakopanishad, we have got 2 names of great master which are, that means similar as it were. One is Angi, that is Angihi. Other one is Angiras. Here Angiraha Munihi refers to Angiras. Nominative singular of Angiras becomes Angiraha. Chandramas, Chandramaha. So like that. So even before this Angiras Muni, there was another sage by name Angihi. We'll see that afterward, though it is not in the text, but we'll see the mantra of the Mundakopanishad. There is a Angihi. So that is different. And here the teacher is Angiraha, means Angiras Muni. Angiraha Muni Yam Brahma Vidyam. Whatever Brahma Vidya he taught to whom? Shaunakaya Uvacha. Taught to Shaunaka. Shaunaka was a Grahastha. Shaunaka was a Grahastha. And he was not an ordinary Grahastha, a very rich person. Not only rich, because in Mundaka we have got description. Shaunako vai Mahashalaha. This is how Shaunaka is described. Shaunaka was a person who was a Mahashalaha. What is meant by Mahashalaha? Mahashala word can have two meanings. Actually, Mahashala means either a person who had a big yajnashala or a person who was running a very big kitchen. Very big kitchen means not he was a cook. He had a very big kitchen means he was feeding many freely as such. So that means he was distributing the food freely to many people. He had a very big kitchen, or he was a person who had performed and performing many great sacrifices. Vedic sacrifices, except Agnihotra, other sacrifices can be performed by only rich persons. Do you know why? Because so many samagris are required and so many ritviks have to be, that means hired, and ritviks cannot be just, you can't be just do away with them. For each and every yaga, how much dakshina has to be given is specified by who? By the Vedas itself, not that sawa rupaya de diya, kaam ho gaya. No, it will not work that way. So therefore, it is that so many cows, so much of gold, depending on their statuses, etc. And also scholars who have been called, then they should be honored. So only a rich person who is dharmic and who has got charitable disposition can do, or he was running a big kitchen and distributing the food to the needy freely. So therefore he must be not, he is not an ordinary person. He was a great, that is grahastha, very rich. So at the same time, not simply rich as such, he had that vivek, he had that maturity. The best I can get from all these is not the work. There should be something more because he has heard about it, though it is not clear to him. So that indicates the maturity of the mind of this person, Shaunaka. So this, that is Angiras Muni, Angiraha Muni, Shaunakaya, to this Grahastha Shaunaka, a Brahma Vidyam Uvacha, whatever Brahma Vidya, knowledge of Brahma, knowledge of Atma that he taught, this also shows that Brahma Vidya, Atma Vidya, Atma Jnana is not simply for sannyasis, it is also for whom? Grahastha. So whether Grahasthas or Grihinis, ladies, gents or ladies, whoever it may be, it is meant for all. Maybe a sannyasi has got little more leisure and he is he can take to more seriously, which Grahastha may not be able to because of the responsibilities of the duty, but this knowledge is meant for all. So even Arjuna was a Grahastha, not ordinary Grahastha, Grahastha with a great responsibility. So to whom Lord Krishna taught this knowledge. So Shaunaka, Brahma Vidyam, Uvacha, whatever that was taught. So that Asau means Asau Brahma Vidya. This Brahma Vidya, Vishadi Krutya Vakshati. Here Vakshati is told how? Vishadi Krutya. Having explained, having elaborated. The subtle points are elaborated here. So that is being now elaborated. That is the content of this chapter. Second stanza. Chaturmukhadike sampradaye yo munirangiraha upasadya yatha shastram etam papracha shaunakaha Chaturmukhadike sampradaye yo munirangiraha upasadya yatha shastrametam papracha shaunakaha. Anvaya. Chaturmukhadike sampradaye yaha angiraha munihi add asit. Angiraha munihi add asit. Etam shaunakaha yatha shastram upasadya papracha. Yatha shastram upasadya papracha. Chaturmukhadike sampradaye yaha angiraha muni asi. Angiraha muni, a sage by name Angiras Angiraha. Where is he found? He is found in this sampradaya. Sampradaya is the methodology of teaching handed over by the teacher to the taught. And depending on who the original guru, of course, original guru is one and the same. Who? Parameshwara, Paramatma. But in that lineage, the top one, depending on the top one, and who are the other, like family tree you have got, no? Like family tree. So here also Guru Shishya Parampara lineage is there. So this lineage starts from Chaturmukha. Which Chaturmukha? Brahmaji, one of the Trinity. So one of the Trinity. So Chaturmukhadike, actually this, what is that sampradaya? We find in Mundakopanishad, Brahma Devanam Pratham Sambhabhuva. So Brahma, so here Brahma can also be taken for Hiranyagarbha, but because it has been specified as Chaturmukha, it is one of the Trinity, that is Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara. This Brahma, Chaturmukhadike, means in the Sampradaya, in the lineage of teacher and the taught, Acharya, Shishya, Adi, beginning from whom? Chaturmukha, Brahmaji. Yaha Angiraha Muni Asi. Whatever that sage, Angiras was there, what was that lineage? It is like this. Brahma Devanam Prathama Sambhabhuva. In the first mantra of first Mundaka, first section, it is said that Brahma, who was Devanam Prathama Sambhabhuva, was first among all the deities, Devas. So what did he do? That Brahma, Swa Jeshta Putraya Atharvaya, first he taught to, it is in the Upanishad. So first he taught to his own son, eldest son. Who was he? Atharva, a Manasa Putra, Atharva. To him he taught. Who? Brahmaji. So Brahma, Swajeshta Putraya Atharvaya. Then that Atharva, Sahacha Atharvaha Angire. This Atharva sage taught it to Angire. Actually the substantive is Angihi. This is the other one, not Angiras. Angiras come afterward. Angihi is the name. There's a dative of that is Angire. So the sage Angire. And whom did Angi start? Sacha Bharadvaja Gotraya Satyavahaya. Brahma to Atharva, Atharva to Angi, Angi taught to maybe a Grahastha by Satyavaha. From which Gotra? Bharadvaja Gotra. That is a great person by name Satyavaha, belonging to Bharadvaja Gotra. Bharadvaja Gotraya Satyavahaya. Then whom did Satyavaha teach? Sahacha Angirase Swashishaya Brahma Vidyam Provacha. This Satyavaha from Bharadvaja Gotra taught to Angiras, one who is the teacher here. So his own disciple Angiras Swashishaya Brahma Vidyam Provacha. And then Saha Eva Sampradaya. So this is what is called as Chaturmukhadi Sampradaya. The lineage beginning from Brahmaji, Atharva, then Angihi, then Satyavaha, then comes to Angiras. From Angiras, a Grahastha by name Shaunaka got this knowledge. So that is what is said. Chaturmukhadike Sampradaye Yaha Angira Munihi Asid. Whatever the Angira Muni, Angi Muni was there. Now that is nominative singular is Angiras. Etam, what did Angira Muni Asid? What happened thereafter? Etam, to him. To him means who? Angirasam. Etam stands for Angirasam. Etam Angirasam. Shaunakaha. This Grahastha by name Shaunaka. Yatha Shastram Upasadya Papracha. He approached this master Angirasa. How? Not on internet or not on telephone. Yatha Shastram, as told in the Shastra. What is that? That is a Parikshalokan karmachitan brahmano nirvedamayat nastya kritaha kritena tad vijnanartham sa gurumeva bhigacche samitpanihi shrotriyam brahmanishtam. In the same Upanishad it said, this is the way of approaching a master. Not simply the last one. Samitpanihi shrotriyam brahmanishtam. Before that, certain preparedness of the mind is necessary. Parikshalokan brahmana nirvedamaya. First he has to analyze what he is able to get to the best of it in its best. That means at the highest level from this world. Not only this world, here and also hereafter in terms of heaven, etc. How it can be earned? By action. Karma chitan. Whatever that can be gained by actions, pariksha, with an unbiased mind, with an objective vision, so having analyzed this, what efforts I put forth and what are the results that are going to fructify. Pariksha lokan karmachita. By karmas, actions, whether it is laukika, worldly action, or paralaukika, or vaidika, smarta, told in the Shastra, irrespective of worldly actions or the shastric action. So, karmachitan, pariksha, brahmanaha nirvedamaya. A mature person, not a brahmana means not such brahmana, kshatriya, vaishya, shudra. A mature person, nirvedamaya. He discovered that even at its best, it cannot totally satisfy me. It can't give the full contentment. Some joys never denied, they are there, but it can't satisfy me to the extent, thus far, no further. That wants to be still being there, I want something, I want something, I want something, that person is not contented one. So here, the topmost that one can gain is Hiranya, first Brahmaloka. In that Brahmaloka, if still further, that means if he is qualified, can gain the post of Hiranyagarbha. That is the topmost post in the entire creation, the first born. Number 2 deputy is who? Virat. So these are the highest ranks, as it were. Even that is not worth. If you have got doubt, those who have studied Brihadaranyaka first chapter at Khar, they know it. So Vidyaranyaka brings all the subtle points wherein even the post of Hiranyagarbha and post of Virat, who can command all power, means after Ishvara, Parameshwara, number 2 is who? Hiranyagarbha, number 3 is Virat. And Virat, many manifestations come Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara. The prominent 3 manifestations at the Virat level are Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara. But we worship Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara as straight away as the Parameshwara Tattva, that is done. Virat as Parameshwara Tattva can be adored. Hiranyagarbha as Parameshwara Tattva can be adored. So that is fine. But these are also a certain pose, and beyond that there is nothing, because they can command all the joy, they can have all the powers, are not worth aspiring. That is very clearly told. What are the drawbacks as such? So he has now discovered, not because some Shastra says, not because some Guru says, by his own Viveka, an impartial analysis, he has discovered that what? Nasti akrutaha krutena. That which is indestructible, that which is nothing but limitless joy, that which has no trace of sorrow, which has no birth, no death, such a thing state cannot be gained by karma. That is what is said as Pariksha Lokan Karmachitan Brahmanaha Nirvedamaya. Nirvedamaya means he was disinterested. He doesn't say that they don't have some bouts of joy here and there, but it cannot enchant him. He is not interested. Why he is not interested? He is for something higher. It's natural. A child who is growing and who was so much attached to the marble playing as such, when the cricket, daddy brought cricket bat and all that, will he be interested now? He will be interested in playing the cricket. And when he grows and with all, suppose the father gave the industrial empire to this person, he is not interested in all these things. As he grows like that, so his interest in something higher and nobler and everlasting than the flimsy thing which may give some joy and accompanied with so many sorrows as such. See, look here. However content a person may be, however joyous a person may be, however much less sorrow may be, so long as the body is there, it is prone to be sorrowful. The person is prone, it may not be, but prone to be sorrowful, because this body and freedom from sorrow is just not possible. That we can verify in deep sleep state. In deep sleep state, so we are not aware of the body, not a single trace of sorrow. So that is Nirveda Maya. He was disinterested in all these things up to the highest level, and he discovered Nasti Akrutaha Krutena. That perfection cannot be gained by the karma. So what did he do? Tad Vijnanartham sa Gurumeva Abhikati. To discover that knowledge, wherein that fullness is there, completeness is there, the joy is there, no trace of sorrow, Gurum eva abhigachet. One has to go to a qualified teacher, acharya. So, how? Samit panihi. With the samit means twigs in the hand. It's only indication of his attitude toward the teacher. So, attitude of serving as such, not necessarily twigs as such. The minimum thing he should go. And who is that? There also there is qualification is there. Who is that Guru? Shotriyam Brahmanishta. One who has got the thorough knowledge of the Shastra and the first-hand experience, the discovery of what the goal of the Shastra, the Brahma Swarupa, he should approach. That is what is called as Yatha Shastram Upasatya. Having approached a master as specified in the Shastra, what did he do? Papracha. Shaunaka, having approached Angirasa, Papracha means he asked. He has a question because he wants to know the final truth. So he has a question for which he has got sufficient data at his disposal. Based on this data, he is asking the question. Let us see what is that question. Ekasmin vidite sarvam Vijñātamiti vaidiki Prasiddhirasti tadvastu Kim sya nishchityame vada. First line Anvaya as it is. Ekasmin vidite sarvam vijñātamiti vaidiki prasiddhihi asti tadvastu kim sya ad iti nishchitya me vada. Tadvastu kim sya iti nishchitya me vada. Actually, the question asked in Mundaka is Kasminnu bhagavo vijñāte sarvamidam vijñātam bhavati. Bhagavaha, O revered master, Kasminnu vijñāte, when known something, sarvamidam vijñātam bhavati. Everything is as good as known. The question is like this. Having known which, all else is as good. When this is possible? There are innumerable branches of knowledge. However much you may specialize in a given branch of knowledge, it is not going to give the knowledge of other branches. And nowadays, the days of specialization are so much that somebody said, somebody went to an ENT, he had some ear problem. And he said that the doctor said, sorry, you have a problem in the right ear, I am specialized in the left ear. So there is a joke, it said in UK, something was to be drilled. There it is like it was a block wherein different metals were there. At the base was the wood. And this mechanic started drilling. He drilled in the metal. When the wood came, he stopped. This is not my job because I am specialized only in the drilling of the metal and not the wood as such. So get it done from a carpenter. So like that, in the days of specialization, so that is the branch of knowledge is so vast, however much you may gain it, it is precious little. So then, here is a knowledge that he is asking, whether it is there or not, we'll see, find in the Upanishad. He is asking, what is that having known everything else is as good known? When this is possible? Is it first thing, is it ever possible? As it appears, it is not possible. But there is a way out. When you know the cause, all effects are as good as known, is it not? If you know the one gold, all golden ornaments are as good as known. There may be different names, different forms, different utilities, but basically everything is what? Gold. So also, if one principle is known, everything else is known means everything, one common denominator, what is that? Having known which, all else are as good as known. That is, karanajnane karyajnanam bhavati. If you know the cause, the karana, the effect, karya are as good as known. So that is what he has got in the mind. And how he could ask this also will be seen from this stanza. Ekasmin vidite, when one thing is known, sarvam vidnyatam, everything else is known, iti, so vaidiki prasiddhi asti. This is well known in the Vedas. Shaunaka introduces the topic like this. Sir, I have heard that there is something, having known which, everything else is as good as known. What is that Vaidiki Prasiddhi? A famous statement found in the Vedas. It refers to Chandogya Upanishad. In Chandogya Upanishad 6.1.3, we find like this. Yena ashrutam shrutam bhavati. Amatam matam. Avidnyatam vidya. In Chandogya find. Yena, having known which, ashrutam shrutam bhavati. Whatever you have not heard is as good as heard, means you have known it. Amatam matam bhavati. Whatever you have not thought is as good as thought of. Avidnyatam vidnyatam bhavati. Whatever that is not known is as good as known. This is Chandogya Upanishad statement. That is what is called as Vaidiki Prasiddhi Asti. So he has got some information. He has heard from someone. This is what is said where in the Chandogya Upanishad. He wants to know what is it all about. So Prasiddhi Asti Tadvastu, that thing, having known which else is as good as known. Kim Syat, what is that thing? Iti Nishchitya me vada. Sir, revered sir, please, Nishchitya means here without ambiguity, without confusion, distinctly, very clearly. Literally, Nishchitya means having ascertained. Having ascertained means very clearly, distinctly, without any confusion or ambiguity. So that means, please teach me me vada. So the question of Shaunaka is, what is that thing having known is as good as known? Angiras starts replying now. He says there are two types of knowledge. Dve vidde veditavve paracha eva aparacha. This is the Mula Shruti, 114. So two types of knowledge are to be gained. One is para, apara. Let us see now. शृणु विद्ये उभे तावद् वेदितव्ये परापरे पृष्ठं वस्तु तयोर्मध्ये गम्यते परविद्यया शृणु तावत् उभे विद्ये परापरे वेदितव्ये. In your book, maybe parapara, it has to be parapare. Shunu tavat ubhe vidye parapare veditavye tayoho madhye paravidyaya prishtam vastu gamyate. Tayoho madhye paravidyaya prishtam vastu gamyate. Shunu tavat. Tavat means at first listen. He introduced the topic now. Tavat here means, tavat can mean then also, but here it is tavat. Shunu tavat. Listen first, like this. Listen first what? Ubhe vidye ve parapare veditavye. Two types of knowledge have to be gained. Ubhe, two. Vidye, vidya, vidye. Dual, that is nominative dual. So these two types of knowledge, what are those? Parapare, that is paravidya and aparavidya. Para means shrestha. Shrestha. Para is, other meanings also are there. Here shrestha. Shrestha means superior, higher. Apara is na para, na shrestha. Not should not be taken as inferior or lower. That which is not higher, that which is not superior. That's all. So, apara, these two types of knowledge need to be gained. Now, what was asked by Shaunaka, it makes him understand. Tayoho madhe, among these two types of knowledge, paravidya and aparavidya, what you had asked, what he asked, having known which, everything else is as good as known. What you had asked, he says, paravidyaya prishtam vastu gamyate. By paravidya, prishtam vastu, the thing that you had asked. What did you ask? Having known which, everything else is known. That thing, by which vidya it is gained? Paravidyaya. By paravidya, it is gained. Means by paravidya, you can know the thing, having known which, all else is as good as known. Now the point comes, what is paravidya and what is aparavidya? So he begins with aparavidya because we are more familiar with aparavidya than paravidya. So this is what aparavidya is. This is that a long list is given in the Upanishad, tatra para, Rigvedo, Yajurveda, Jyotisham, etc. up to that. That is, and thereafter it is said, athapara yaya tadaksharam adhigamyate, Mundaka 115. But those who have got books of Mundakopanishad can refer to, just make a note. Now don't start searching now. Afterward you can do some homework, okay? Others don't bother about that because all the content is found very in a clear manner in the very text itself. So he says, that is, what is that aparavidya? Let us see. This is what aparavidya. Shadanga sahita veda vijnayante yaya dhiya. Sadhira paravidya syat brahmadhistu paramata. One pa is missing there. See, there it is dhirara vidya is there. After first ra in and before second ra in between add pa. Dhira paravidya, not dhirara vidya. Dhira paravidya. Anvaya. Yaya dhiya, these corrections I am suggesting only in the Madras University edition book. Other Xerox copy must be having clear, the correct as Yaya Dhiya Shadanga Sahitaha Vedaha Vijnayanti Yaya Dhiya Shadanga Sahitaha Vedaha Vijnayanti Sa. Now see the sandhi breaking there. Sa Dhihi Aparavidyasya. Sa Dhihi Aparavidyasya. That Visarga and A joined has become Ra. Sa Dhihi Aparavidyasya. Tu Brahmadhihi Paramata. Tu Brahmadhihi Paramata. So this is what Aparavidya and Paravidya. Yaya Dhiya, by which Dhi. See, Dhi means intellect, that is the main meaning. Dhi also means knowledge. So here we have to take not as intellect but as knowledge. Yaya Dhiya, by which knowledge means is not simply knowledge, which also includes corresponding granthas, the text. So here, Dhihi word includes the text also, the knowledge contained in those texts which speak of Brahmadhyana. Not Brahmadhyana, the things that will be told here. Yaya Dhiya, by that knowledge, or which includes corresponding text also, Shadanga Sahita Vedaha Vijnayanti. These Vedas are known, studied, not simply Vedas, with the auxiliaries. Shadanga Sahita, with 6 angas, the auxiliaries. The auxiliaries of Vedas are Shiksha, Kalpa, Vyakarana, Nirukta, Chandasam, Jyotisham. Shiksha. Shiksha is phonetics. Because in the mantras, etc., to study Vedas, your pronunciation must be very clear. Sanskrit is not a non-phonetic language like English and French, etc. So this is a phonetic language and the pronunciation should be very clear. If any mistakes are committed in the mantra, not only desired result will not come, at times adverse result may come. You know that famous, this is that Vratrasura's father conducted a great sacrifice to invoke Lord Shiva to get a son who will kill Indra. Indra Shatrum Prayacha Swaha. What he meant is Indra Shatrum Prayacha Swaha. That is, he offered the oblation, please bless me with a son who is the enemy of Indra. Actually, he should have Indra Shatrum Prayacha Swaha. Indra means it should have been, that is Anudata, and Udata should have been Sha. Emphasis on Sha, and the lowering Indra means who is Shatru is powerful, Indra is weak, and powerful Shatru will kill the Indra. Indra Shatrum Prayacha Swaha. But unfortunately, what did you know? Indra Shatrum Prayacha Swaha. Indra, Udata he took means who became more powerful? Indra. Sha, he was weak. And Indra killed who? Vratrasura. Only one mistake in pronunciation. Because karma means what? As per your order, delivery is given. And afterward, he can't complain to who? Shiva. He said, you asked for what? You asked, of course, Vratrasura was enemy of Indra, but Indra was more powerful and killed Vratrasura. So therefore, phonetics should be very, very clear. So from that standpoint, one of the auxiliary is Shiksha, that is phonetics. Then Kalpa. Kalpa gives modes of performance of various rituals. The purview of Veda is so vast that it is not possible for any student to study all the Vedas to know how the rituals are and sacrifices are performed. So great master, what they do? The great master studied all Vedas and culled the information of performing particular ritual or sacrifice, having taken into account the different aspects that are in the various Vedas, and made a handbook. And that handbook is called as Kalpa. Like readily you can get any sacrifice or ritual, how to be performed. Information from all the Vedas is there at one place, that is Kalpa. This also needs to be studied, otherwise it is not practical for any person to study all the Vedas. Vyakaranam. So Vyakarana, you know, grammar. From school days onwards, Vyakarana means headache, is it not? Grammar means headache from the school days onward. But it is necessary because here, when the exact, precise meaning of the import has to be established, you should know grammar thoroughly. So therefore, Vyakaranam, Niruktam, etymology. So how the words are, from that you can have the clear meaning. Chandasam, prosody, because mantras are in different meters, so prosodical meters, so prosody should be known. Jyotisham, so little knowledge of astronomy, not astrology, okay, not Jyotish Shastra, no, astronomy. So one should know when a particular ritual or a sacrifice has to be performed. So that's where these readily Panchanga, almanac were not available in those days. They had to read the sky and then determine. So from that word, so one should have some knowledge of astronomy. So that is what Jyotisham. These are the 6 angas. Shadanga Sahita Vedaha Vidnyayante, by which knowledge and corresponding text, all Vedas along with the 6 auxiliaries are studied. Vidnyayante, known means studied. Sadhihi, that knowledge is apara vidya, means apara vidya, the knowledge that is not superior. Now here, what is told is only the knowledge contained in the Vedas. By Upalakshana indication, it applies to all the academic knowledge. All the academic knowledge comes in the category of apara vidya, because it is there. Because first laukika knowledge, first you have to live in the world. To live in the world, certain knowledge in terms of academic knowledge is necessary. That also comes. Here it is not separately mentioned, because when in the academic knowledge, highest knowledge is there in the karma, the Vedas karma kanda portion. From that standpoint, it only that is told, which includes the academic knowledge also. So this is what is called as Dhisadhihi Aparavidyasya. That is what is Aparavidya, the other one, not the Paravidya. What is Paravidya then? To show the contrast. To show the contrast, it says, Tu Brahmadhihi Paramata. Brahmadhihi, knowledge of Brahma is what considered as what? Paramata. Para means Paravidya. It is considered as the Paravidya. So now, what is Aparavidya? What is Paravidya? Knowledge contained in all Vedas along with the 6 auxiliaries is what? Aparavidya, which includes the Laukika knowledge, academic knowledge also. And knowledge of Brahma is Paravidya. If you closely scrutinize this statement, there should be a doubt. What is that doubt? See, all types of knowledge, because Shadanga Sahita Vedaha means everything told in the Vedas have come along with the 6 auxiliaries. If it is in the Aparavidya, Paravidya which is Brahma Jnana, is it in the Vedas or outside the Vedas? In the Vedas, how? All that is told in the Vedas is bracketed as what? Aparavidya. And knowledge of Brahma is said to be Paravidya. Means Paravidya is not in the Vedas. It necessarily should be outside the Vedas. If it is outside the Vedas, these rishis will not touch it. Achut. Asprishya. That because anything which is Veda Bahya, anything which is Smriti Bahya. Smriti Bahya means the Smriti's texts which are based on the Vedas. Our Shastra says we have nothing to do with them. And you are telling all that is told in the Vedas with the 6 auxiliaries is Aparavidya and knowledge of Brahma is Paravidya. Knowledge of Brahma Paravidya should necessarily be outside Vedas and therefore it is Veda Bahya. Because it is Veda Bahya, it is not acceptable. See, for a mature person, Veda Bahya knowledge is not acceptable. See, even Atharva Veda has got even engineering, etc. Germany could advance so much in engineering. Do you know from where they have taken? Even Japan also. From where? Our Vedas only. And now see what is our plight as Indians. That is that. These buffaloes, once they have given the lactation, these fellows don't bother. There are people who come and purchase. They take it and they feed pakka, and then it is bound to give the means that calf as such. They bring it back. Sell that at an enormous price. Had this person reared the buffalo, he would have himself have got it. So like that, now they have taken over this thing and they have discerned it. See, all this in the code language. They have studied Sanskrit and found, and now how they have advanced. And what we are doing now? Importing. Everything is being imported as such. So like this. So it has got all, especially Atharva Veda contains all these worldly things, engineering. They say in the Vijagapatanam, in the library, there is a manuscript which has got all the technology of sophisticated shipbuilding. The plight is Sanskrit Pandits don't know engineering, engineers don't know Sanskrit, and it is there. Unless some foreigner comes and this thing, and then it will come out as anyway. So that means it becomes Veda Bahya Smriti, so that is not acceptable. Says it doesn't mean that it is outside Vedas, it is in the Vedas. Then why it is said? There is a reason. These two, these stanzas 6 and 7 give the answer. Though Paravidya is part and parcel of Vedas, why it was bracketed separately? The reasons are given in the stanza 6 and 7.
Om Swasti Prajabhya Paripalayana Nyayena Margena Mahimahesha Guru Brahmanebhya Shubhamastu Nityam Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Kale Varshadu Parjanya Prithvi Sasya Shalini Desho Yangsho Varahita Brahmana Santu Nirbhaya Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukha Bhag Bhave Asato Ma Satgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amsamgamaya Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om